Yeah. A small announcement. My students from the Department of Journalism, okay, they are live streaming these sessions. Is that clear? So you can take the address. We'll share the address very shortly. You can share it with your friends outside, just in case they are not here, right? So you would like to amplify whatever is happening here to maximum number of people. Okay, glad that you are all here, but let others also benefit from the sessions which are happening here. Okay, so please, when Rana will circulate that information on a piece of paper, or you want to write it? Okay.
In YouTube, you will be having Osmania Journalism YouTube channel. No, directly if you type Osmania Journalism, you will get. Please do subscribe also.
Yeah. Okay. No, I think they have been doing a wonderful job. Okay. We had several programs during the past 1 year, and I think most of the time we went live. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Rana, Anjali, and Rajitha. Fine. Okay. I have just put together a small PowerPoint. Though I generally don't want to rely on PowerPoints, I thought, this will be as reference points for you. Reference points for you. We'll be amplifying on these points, and we'll try to complete this issue of selection of topic and probably formulation of a problem also. Yeah. Yeah. Study should address a research problem and questions that you want answered because they are important to you and you have been unable to find meaningful and validated solutions. It should be researchable and lend themselves to research methodology. You need to have a particular methodology through which you can probe this problem. Okay, it should be researchable. Can you do it? Feasibility aspect. Can you research this? Ask yourself these questions. Going on to the top. One second. You want these questions to be answered. Okay. Now, if you look at human history, I think human beings are the only animals who can have this questioning ability. Questioning? And that questioning ability is something which you implement here. Your constant questioning of problems which are unexplored, for which you seek solutions. You are not living in dark ages, right? We are living in an age where there is constant questioning. Right. Next one. Where do we start? Identifying and specifying the research problem. Might seem like research tasks that ought to be easy, easily accomplished, but it is not the case. There is a problem. Okay, people who are yet to decide about the topic may be facing this problem. Okay? Because there is this confusion which prevails. And I believe confusion is a sign of progress. You are confused, you are seeking answers, questioning, and then moving ahead so that you yourself will get some clarity. Is that fine? Yeah. Next one. It's important subjects you have studied for yourself. Significant terms. Think about the significant terms, concepts, keywords that describe your topic. Okay. These keywords will help you when you go for online searches. Okay. I'll be inviting someone to talk about electronic databases, how to search electronic databases. Okay. Using keywords. Okay. Because every 4 minutes, there is an article which is uploaded onto the internet. You can imagine the kind of information explosion which is taking place. Okay, some people are calling it as information diarrhea also. It's a different thing. Okay. Now, in this information explosion, we are looking for information which is relevant to you, which will help you to crystallize your topic. You understand this? That's why we need to identify what are the key terms, words, phrases, which can lead you to relevant literature. Because you need to have a broad understanding of the topic. Without having a broad understanding of the topic, don't get into that area at all. Okay, I think my subsequent slide talks about it. Okay. Basic questions. Why is it you are doing this study? In what way is it going to contribute to the existing body of knowledge? Is it going to help policymakers? Is it going to lead to some kind of an innovation, a new drug discovery, as Sir said? There has to be something, right? There may be a serendipitous discovery also, no problem. But should be a purpose. If it is something on school education, is it going to help educational administrators? Is it going to help teachers? If it is use of ICTs in schools, is it going to help district educational officers as well as IT ministry as to what kind of policy should shape the ICT implementation in school education? What should be the computer student ratio? Okay, what is the kind of manpower which is required? Who should run these institutions? Is there a purpose? Which can lead to two things. Okay, when people come and ask me about a topic, one, are you doing your PhD for PhD's sake is the question. For a degree. For a degree. Okay. Are you doing it to enhance your knowledge? Question mark. Are you doing it so that there is some social utility, some social significance? Are you doing this study to add to the discipline, to add to your own discipline? I just met my one friend from law college. This debate about constitution, right from Kesava Bharat case, now there is again a discussion. Are you going to add to the existing debate? There should be a purpose. Are you doing your PhD to enhance your career prospects? Career? Do you want to become let us say, a HR consultant in the years to come, or an organizational development expert? Am I clear? You should be clear. You should be clear about what you propose to do. Right? Hard questions, but you have to pose these questions. Okay? Next one. How much is already known? What is the status of research or knowledge about the subject? That's why this review of literature. That's why this review of literature. Do you know enough, adequate understanding about the existing state of affairs Sir pointed out, if you understand the existing state of affairs, then you can identify the gaps. Then only you can identify gaps and go ahead with your research. So this calls for reading. Quite often I ask this question, so where does research begin? Where does research begin? Can anyone hazard a guess? Yeah? Yeah, where does research begin? Okay, of course, we are talking about topic, right? Research. Sometimes people say research, survey करेंगे सब, questionnaire बनाएंगे सब. It's easier. Okay, I'll probably get into the lab and start doing something. Your real research starts in a library. In a library. Where you are sitting with books, negotiating the knowledge which is already existing. Only when you have adequate understanding, then you can think in terms of your own topic. What is that you know? If you are inadequate, please read up. That too not casual reading, critical reading, active reading. Active reading, where you are constantly questioning each and every statement which is there in the chapter or a review article. We have become passive consumers of information, honestly. Whether you agree or not, we have become passive. That's why we are not touched even when someone is butchered on the streets. We watch it. We watch it and just pass. This is yet another event. Passive consumers, passive readers. No, you ought to be more active readers. Constantly questioning, is there an assumption? Is there an opinion? Is there a fact? Is there a claim which can be falsified? Then only you get answers to sharpen your own objectives. Are you getting my point? So what is that you already know? That means you'll have to go back to the library. The other day, there was a very disturbing article in Hindu. I don't know how many of you have read it. COVID and post-COVID, reading has come down. Reading has, I'm not fabricating something, please. Go back to, I think, 2 or 3 days back. Opposite the editorial page, there's a huge write-up. Reading has dropped. Sad state. But since you have taken this task of doing your PhD, remember, this is fundamental, whether you apply for research abroad or for funding agencies or for PhD in Osmania. Right? Your reading matters. Your proposals, the quality of your proposal depends directly on the time spent or quality time spent in reading. Is that fine? Right. Next one. What is the point there? Is additional background necessary? Once you read this, I said 3 or 4 things very quickly, but is there a claim in the article? Is there an assumption? Is there an opinion? When you are constantly sifting out, Jellada Vattada, right? Channi, right? When you do this, then you know whether additional information is required for your study. Okay, then we are looking at what is to be measured. What is that you want to examine? Can this data be available? Availability part. Is this data available? Okay, should research be conducted? Can a hypothesis be formulated? Is the problem or the topic significant enough to be studied? Yedo okati chesedamu? No. When you go for funding agencies, I think they weigh your proposal based on what you write. Which means it has to be dense in thought. Have you consulted enough sources? How did you piece this information together? Right? Is there a logical flow in your argument leading to sharp research questions? Are you following this? Right? Simple things, but we have to be very, very careful, serious about it. Yeah. Next one. Next one. Yeah. The importance of these steps. Identification of the destination before embarking on your destination. Okay, you always would like to reach a destination, but this is your first step. That is your selection of a topic, right? Okay, it's like a foundation of a building, structure. You can have a superstructure, but you need to have a base structure. Your output, your research output, your findings or conclusions which you are likely to arrive at, okay, will directly depend on the first topic. That is your input in the form of your topic. Okay, maximum what is allowed is about 20 to 25 words in your title, not more than that. Examiners generally look at not more than 20 or 20 plus 2 or 3 words, not more than that. Not running into sentences. Probably you can indicate your methodology there. Fine? Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned this. Confusion is a sign of progression. It's a first step towards clarity. Work. Ways to select a topic. Personal significance, personal experience and significance. Look within. Is there something which is telling you, yeah, I think there is a topic sitting here. Topic sitting here. We are now hearing about ChatGPT. Yes? I'm sure. Yeah? ChatGPT. Yeah? That should give us ideas. That should give at least social science students some ideas. What's going to happen to human interaction? Is that clear? Because there you are going on a chat, someone is replying to your queries, artificial intelligence. Already we are suffering. We don't talk to our own family members in the house. Once you enter the house, each one is in his own world. WhatsApp, busy. Daughters don't see parents because they are all in their night shifts. Morning, these people are out. These people are again sleeping. Communication has come down. Okay, sorry, I'm giving you an example from communication because closer to my heart, right? So what happens next? What happens next? Is that clear? But anything which you observe, experience, see, should actually trigger ideas. Trigger ideas. You will have to see the linkages. You'll have to see the linkages. We are already thinking about how artificial intelligence is going to affect journalism. So if KCR is going to give a speech, you put it in according to the algorithms, they will analyze and say, okay, this is what he's going to speak at maybe some Nanded or whatever. Okay, artificial intelligence is already started writing poems. Writing poems. Okay, they say in another 5 years, some 40 million jobs will be wiped away. So where do we go is the question after doing PhD. Okay, right? Okay, so significance. Is it significant? Okay, quite often I give this example. Okay, my neighbor's son, who suddenly he takes out something from his bag, something like a sword. He's playing. Okay, but he's imitating some character in some movie. I'm sure it happens. The children are becoming toy savvy. They want only these violent arms. Where are they picking up? Are we developing some kind of an aggressive behavior even in their formative stages? Formative? Topic for research. You don't have to go run around. It is happening right around. The socialization process happens because of family, friends, and whoever this person is interacting with. This kid is interacting with all these violent movies on television or violent whatever. There's so much of violence even in Cartoon Network, please. Okay? So don't be surprised if your son suddenly becomes aggressive or is biting his teeth. This. So are we nurturing, okay, who are prone to violent behavior? It's a topic. It's a topic. COVID, we saw our supply chain was totally disrupted. Chinese, we were not able to access so many goods which were hitherto marketed here in India. So many ports were full of these ships which are just docked like that. So how dependent are we on imports? What kind of imports? What kind of imports? What happens to our supply chain? Topic. Okay, you sort it out with your faculty, you sort it out with your colleagues, you'll get topics which can actually be researched upon. Which means your antennae should be very, very high. You should catch signals in the environment. What is happening around as a researcher? Is it clear? You are not an ordinary person, please. You are a researcher. Right? The way you think, the way you look at the world has to be different. Then only you come up with topics. Otherwise, I'm sorry, you can run around n number of people, n number of books without actually arriving at a topic. Personal significance, experiences, observations, interactions, right? Yeah. State of knowledge in the field, I discussed this. Critical issues focused. Existing literature which you search with the help of engines, databases, etc., etc. Ethical considerations, especially those who are doing science research. Okay, is it going to harm animals? When you go for clinical trials, is it going to harm human beings? Is it clear? There are some very horrendous cases. Some of our friends, in their craze to go to US, went there and they got subjected to some kind of clinical trials without knowing what was being administered to them, because they were offered some more money, dollars. Their lifespan was cut short. I know of people who died at a very young age because in their quest for money, they went through these clinical trials where there were some harmful substances which were administered and they died. Much to the shock of people back here. So there are ethical considerations, especially science related. Please look into this. Okay. Then we have, a social premium, curiosity based on something. I told you about this curiosity. Insatiable curiosity, I would say. In curiosity which cannot be just satisfied like that. It should constantly motivate you. Right? Social premiums, social utility. Not all research socially significant. Like sir said, they may have come up with a new drug formulation, vitamin D, which cuts down on the time and also money, which has an impact on the society. But not all research may actually impact the society. It may just add to the existing body of knowledge. That's why we draw a distinction between basic research and applied research. Basic research, just adding to existing. Okay, right. Then the last point, you are adding to not only your knowledge, but also existing knowledge. Okay, what is happening to corporate governance? Okay, or misgovernance, which is linked to corporate frauds. We have had Mehul Choksey, we have Vijay Mallya, we now have another gentleman, we don't know whether he'll come out of it or not. Right? Topic. Okay, right. Next. Yeah. Selection of the discipline. You know your discipline. I don't have to comment on that. Right. What is the broad area? I said you have to look at the discipline, broad area, dissect it into sub areas. Okay, broad area or a particular aspect of the selected subject. Identify two or more areas within that broad area. You understand this? Professor Patrick mentioned this. Funnel approach. What is it? Funnel approach. Broad discipline. You start narrowing down to some subtopics, from subtopics to sub-themes, from sub-themes to your topic. Is that fine? Yeah. Yeah, background information you have to read. I said you need to have adequate understanding, for which you need to have a background. Okay? When you write your introduction, we'll be talking about this, how to write an introduction, maybe tomorrow. Okay? You need to have a background. You need to contextualize your research. Your research is being done against the backdrop of several different factors. Climate change, okay, and its impact on several different domains. So you start from climate change, okay, you come to food security or food insecurity. Is that fine? Okay. You need to have adequate background. To have this background, you will have to go back and read. How do we read? Is it possible? How many books should I read? Questions. I would say, I don't say you have to read this many, but it has to be exhaustive and comprehensive. So when you read, don't read from one page, from the first page to the last page. You start reading the book, go to the rear of the book. There's a review of the book. There's a review of the book generally on the back cover. Right? You read the review, then you come to the contents page. Look at the chapters. Are there any chapters which are relevant to your study? 2. Third, go to the chapter. When you go to individual chapters, start reading the first sentence in each paragraph. In language, they call it as a topic sentence or a thematic sentence. Which generally summarizes what is there in the paragraph. So if you have read 10 paragraphs, that is 10 topical sentences, you have got a broad idea about what is there in that particular chapter. Go to the next chapter. Review each topic sentence. You understand this? So by the end of, let us say, 10 chapters in that book, you know that there are only 2 chapters which are relevant to you. You have not read the entire book, please. You have only read it through the topic sentence or thematic sentence. Is that fine? Because reading is laborious. It puts us to sleep, honestly. Okay? So you need to have a good background, context for your research. Okay? Right. Next one. Read previous studies to identify strengths and pitfalls. Maybe earlier methodologies have failed. What is that you can do with regard to your study, which is somewhat similar? Check with supervisors. Consult some more sources. Then you'll get answers. Okay? Yeah? I think some of these have been covered. Reading, academic experience, daily experience, exposure to field situations, brainstorming. Okay? Read even WhatsApp. WhatsApp University also sometimes gives you ideas. Okay? Because there are wonderful ideas which float around. Can they be testable? You understand? So much of hate which is going on in online discourse. That becomes a topic for research. You understand? You have diverse points of view. If you start reading it, very interesting. Common man. We don't ignore the common man. Okay, they come up with some very intelligent, what you call, information or output, perspective. Read each of this, digest. Okay, then start asking questions. Whether it can be converted into a researchable question. Right? Yeah. So, exposure to field situations, brainstorming, research, and intuition. Intuition. Your gut feeling. Your gut feeling. Does your sixth sense tell you that there is a topic which can be researched? Okay, we have one literature student here, Shakespeare. Okay, I want to do a study on Shakespeare. Okay, a lot of things have been written about Shakespeare. What about Shakespeare? Okay, can we analyze Shakespeare from a psychoanalytic point of view? His characters. What is the role of a fool in his plays? Is that clear? So your intuition while you're reading should alert you, yeah, I think there is something which can be looked at. Jot down, please. Jot down, because my subsequent slides talk about this. Yeah? Okay, next. Yeah, this is purely from a management point of view. Customer complaints. Customer complaints. When you get into online discussion groups, especially with regard to products, okay, people have diverse opinions, okay, about a new product which is being launched. That can become a market research problem. Maybe the price is too high. Maybe this dual version of petrol and electric is not working. Half an hour to charge your vehicle. We don't have enough number of EV stations. What happens if you are traveling long distances and your car, your battery goes down? Can we immediately switch over? How long can you travel with your fuel? Questions, consumer complaints. Okay, right. Conversation with company employees. I think this is purely a management example. Problems within the organization. Okay, inappropriate behavior among people, deviation from business plans, success of the firm, competitors. Okay, each of these points which I mentioned here. How many management people are here? Yeah. This should give you ideas. Ideas for your project reports, ideas for your PhD also. Okay. Yeah. I think very briefly I touched upon these criteria. Your own interest, please. Your own interest, your competence. Your competence. Are you competent enough to handle this subject? Right? Don't take up a topic which is unwieldy, too huge for you to handle, too big. You will have to narrow it down. Look at this, your own competency levels. Do I have adequate knowledge about statistics? What kind of tools should I use? Where should I use? If you don't have an understanding, you'll have to read up, come up with some kind of answers, and then say, yeah, I think I'll be interested in this research. Your own resources, especially when you are not funded. When you are not funded. Most of the PhD students are not funded. Maybe they get some scholarship, if I'm right. Otherwise, no. If it is funded, then you can think of collecting data from a huge number of people, distribute questionnaires or online, whatever it is. Do you have that resources? Financial as well as manpower. Okay. External criteria, research ability, urgency and relevance. Is the problem relevant? There has to be some relevance. Contemporaneous. Okay. Sir talked about vitamin D. Okay, he talked about something else also. Something which is more tuned to what's happening outside in the market. check for relevance, novelty, or originality. Something which is new. You are not replicating research. You are not replicating research. You are adding to the existing blocks of knowledge. Okay? Is data available? Is data available? Because in your course of your research, you will also be looking at a lot of secondary data which is published. If there is no secondary data which is available, what do you do next? Question mark. Are people willing to talk to you? I remember when I was abroad in Gulf, I wanted to do a study on the killing of Osama bin Laden. The killing of, he was killed in Abbottabad, right? After that, his body was shipped and somewhere in the sea it was just dumped there. Because in Gulf, we had people of different nationalities, Muslims. So I had a small questionnaire wherein I talked about Western powers, their hegemony, and this incident. You understand this? And when I approached my respondents, some of them said, "We are sorry, we are not going to fill this questionnaire." It hurts their sensibilities. I said, fair enough. I didn't go ahead with them. Because, remember, there was one thing which I mentioned, ethical considerations. When you go out to collect data, you are collecting data based on informed consent. The other person should say, yes, I am willing to fill this questionnaire. That's why in your questionnaire on the top you say that I am a researcher in so-and-so department. I am approaching you with a request to furnish this information which will be kept confidential, not for public consumption. Then only he goes ahead and fills the question. So if relevant data is not available, difficult to do research. Think about this even before you embark on your research journey. The idea wheel. Here, write your topic in the center of a blank page. Like a web. Connecting subtopics to the main topic. Do some mechanical things, drawing a line, connecting spokes, branch other spokes, making smaller wheels. Remember, one other criteria for your topic selection is that it should not be too broad, nor too narrowly focused for you to do research. So when you do this kind of an exercise, I am sure you will arrive at some kind of topics, researchable topics. Next one, please. Free writing. Free writing? It's that likhte love ho jaye story. You keep on writing, just like free thinking. You keep writing, that's it. Meaningful, stupid, idiotic, whatever it is, write. Let it out of your system. Disgorge. You understand this? At the first stage, please write. Free writing. Anything which comes to your mind with regard to a particular topic, fine. Then you start eliminating. But first thing is, ideas should flow. If your ideas don't flow, the topic is not emerging. Okay? So I'll not read this entire thing. Go to the areas of the library, media center or whatever, explore the area, pull out the books, scan the contents, index. This is what I mentioned because it's very tedious. Okay? Yeah? These questions which journalist ask who, what, when, where, and questioning. Questioning each and every aspect which are which is mentioned in the books. Answer each question as completely as possible. Yeah? I don't know. What's the time now? 4:30. I think 4:40.